Toronto has been hit hard by snowstorms this season, leaving messy conditions and frustrated residents dealing with uncleared sidewalks and now bike lanes. Some are questioning whether the city should actually pay residents to help clear snow after major storms. In New York, where the region recorded up to 48 centimeters of snow last week, officials are recruiting temporary emergency snow shovelers. They're tasked with clearing bus stops, crosswalks, and fire hydrants. The pay starts at $19 an hour and can go as high as $30 an hour during blizzard conditions. The program has proved popular. The mayor says more than 1,400 people signed up in a single day. Joining me now to discuss the New York model and whether a program like this could be implemented in Toronto is Matti Siemiatycki, director of the Infrastructure Institute at U of T. So thank you, first of all, for joining us this morning. So how would something like this be implemented in Toronto? Do we need it, and would it work?
So I think first things first, we've had a terrible year with snow, and I think people are looking for quick snow clearance. The New York model gets you thinking, and in principle, the idea is that you call on your neighbors, you call on residents, it's a rapid response, and I like the idea of the city getting after it, having people who come out with a shovel and participate. Now, this is not a replacement for all the big equipment that's needed and the heavy machinery and the skilled workers who help to clear our snow every day and every year, but this is an assistance, and I do think there's an opportunity to think about how we tap into the skill and effort of residents to help contribute to clearing snow more quickly.
So New York has their snow cleared much more quickly than we do. Do you think we intentionally are okay with the slower cleanup to keep our taxes lower?
This is exactly it, Arda. It's a trade-off between cost and speed. We spend less money than Montreal, even though Montreal is a smaller city than us, and Montreal gets better service. We also don't really have contracts for snow removal at scale, and so that's also been an issue. There's only so much you can clear if you can't then remove it, and that's why you see the big piles of snow that are causing problems all across the city. So really, you start out talking at a big level about how we get rid of snow, and before you know it, you're into contracts and budgeting and all the minutiae of how a city operates.
So New York has experimented with having residents clear areas like bus stops and crosswalks. Do you think this is innovative urban resilience, or do you think that this is evidence that cities are struggling to keep up with all the snow and clearing it after weather?
I think it's a bit of both. I actually think it's a bit of performative theater, and in that regard, I don't mind that. I think that after a huge snowstorm, people are generally willing to accept that there was a big event and something happened, but what they want to see is action. They want to see people out there. They want to see that the cavalry has arrived to help them get out of their homes, to help people get to their appointments or to their work. And so really, I think there is something about having people out on the street. You know, I like the idea of something like a Toronto core, where we bring people on, we have a roster of people who have said we are willing and able to come out to help contribute. Today it could be a snowstorm. In the summer it could be flooding. It could be a blackout. And that we have people who are ready and willing and able, and that the city has a roster of people they can call, that they show that it's very physical, it's very kinetic, that there are people out there who are ready to respond to the needs of our residents.
So do you think that Toronto needs to totally scrap what they're doing and have a completely new plan, or should they just scale up what they're doing right now?
We're in scale up. We have a plan, and it's generally worked better than last year, but as you see, each year there are gaps. And I think in this case, the big thing is snow removal. We need to have the removal contracts, the big equipment that then shovels the snow into dump trucks and carts it away. That has been the biggest issue. At a certain point, when you have enough snow, when you have 60 centimeters fall, there's nowhere to put it on the sides of the streets. And in places like Montreal, they do removal at scale. And that's been a real issue for the city of Toronto because of the contracts. So again, you start out with this big principle that we want the streets cleared quicker, and before you know it, you're into the minutia of how a contract is drafted, and that's really been an issue here in Toronto.
If you could change one thing so that we could see these results happen quicker, would it be funding? Would it be staffing? Would it be the way things are governed?
Can I say two things?
Yeah.
One is the funding. I think we need more money going into this. We need to be investing at the scale of our peers if we want this to go faster. And then I do think people want to see something visible. I like the idea of having people out there clearing the bus stops, clearing the fire hydrants, clearing in front of seniors' homes, for example, so that people can get out of their houses and homes. This is so important for our city. And just being able to see it, I think, gives people a sense that there is a response and that the city cares.
Thank you so much, Matti. We really appreciate your time. Matti Siemiatycki is the director of the Infrastructure Institute at the University of Toronto. Thank you.
Thank you.